The hell must be frozen because not only EA heard our feedback, but they also responded to it, with reverting back some of the changes they implemented in Season 3. And of course, we also have 2000's event with Lucas Dostal, Noah Dobson, Chris Progner, Brendan Shanahan and Andrei Svechnikov. So today we will break down the content, talk about all the changes EA released yesterday, and in all fairness, you really have to give EA credit where credit is due. This may be the first time they actually communicated to us, and I really hope we will see this more often. We also have a lot of team items, or just cards if let's say you are just starting out. But to be honest, this 88 overall Teemu Selanne is probably one of the best cards released yesterday, and we will look at that in a minute. I want to start with all the changes they reverted back. Firstly, we all remember that EA now are splitting the competitive objectives between rivals and champs, and also adding squad battles. But we all knew that the squad battle rewards are not good enough, so we gave our feedback, and you see squad battles part 2. So now you can actually earn the same coins and also elite pack. The only pack you are missing out is the mega pack. And to be honest, is the mega pack really worth the grind, considering you only need to play 30 games and it doesn't matter which difficulty you play, you will be able to earn yourself 32,500 coins each week, plus also elite pack. And don't forget about all these packs, because next week, once the objectives reset, all these objectives will be in one. So basically, squad battle players also will now need to play 30 games, win 30 games, and they will be able to earn all these rewards. This is a really massive win from EA. There are no any changes to the rivals and hard champs objectives, and same as before, by winning 30 games online, you will get this mega pack, and you also will get all these coins and stuff like that. So basically, squad battle objectives are pretty much the same as it was before. You all know that on Thursday when EA released the new Season 3, when you was going to the squad battles, you remember that every difficulty was giving you the same XP, so there was really no challenge for offline players. But now they reverted back, so if you play on Rookie, you get 1016 XP, but if you like the challenge, you can actually play on Superstar difficulty and earn 1931 XP. So if you're an offline player, you should be happy because you can finally get the same XP you was before. So once again, I have to say, it's a massive W from EA. Really like that they heard our feedback, even if it took us like a civil war or something like that. It's good that they actually communicated these changes. They also admitted that they were wrong, and really you cannot ask for more at this point. But now let's look at our new MSPs. Noah Dobson, 6'4" with two-way defenseman and pinpoint shooting boost, stick 'em up and heat seeker. On a paper, really good card. As you can see, the abilities are not free anymore, so if you didn't took advantage of the Gallery of Greats event or you just picked up the game recently, this card is a really good right-handed defenseman. 91 speed, 91 acceleration, endurance is also 89, the shooting and hands are good. Defensive awareness will be 92, and he also have 90 body checking, so technically really decent card. And he also have 91 agility and 90 balance, following with 90 body checking, so really good card on the paper, and I think this card would actually fit really good in everyone's team if you're just starting out. The next one is probably the best card from this event, Chris Progner, just because he's 6'6", 220, with two-way defenseman and checking boost. Let's say you activate both synergies, you can boost the endurance to the 92, 90 speed, 90 acceleration. With the synergies active, you can also boost the balance. The shooting and hands are decent for his size. I don't think the Thunderclap is worth activating, but 100% gold shutdown with 2 ability points with his size will make a difference. 97 body checking, 97 strength, 92 defensive awareness, and 92 stick checking with synergies activated. If you don't have any of the fancy cards, let's say fantasy cards, or again if you didn't took advantage of Gallery of Greats event, this is a must-have card from this week. But at the same time, if you are saving for Team of the Year, probably none of these cards are must-make, and I really want to make it clear. I don't think a single card this week, and probably even next week, will be must-make. These cards are good, and all of them are usable. The next one will be Andrei Svechnikov, left-handed winger, with sniping forward and deking boost. Skilled up is really not ability anyone should activate, and 1T if you like scoring 1Ts, but I really think you can still score a lot of 1Ts without this zone ability. The shooting is really great, all about 94 with synergies activated. The skating stats are also very good, 92 acceleration with 92 speed, endurance 88, and I really like to see that the endurance is going up now with every single overall. But if you look at his hands, deking 99, puck control 98. Again, if you don't have any of the fancy cards, this card will really make a huge difference to your team. The next one will be Brendan Shanahan, right-handed winger from Detroit Red Wings, because if EA will not give us Sharks players, they for sure will give us Detroit Red Wings players. Again, don't have any issues with that. I really think that he's a decent card. 6'3", power forward with power shooting boost. If you activate the synergies, you can see then the slapshot power goes up, wrist shot power goes up, hands are good, skating is also very decent. Superstar abilities will be close quarters and unstoppable force. Unstoppable force will be probably something I would activate if I would have this player. And if you're in need for a right-handed winger and you didn't make Brett Hall, or let's say you didn't get 10 wins in the last week's champs, this is a really good card to put on your first line. And of course, as every week, we also have a goalkeeper, Lucas Dostal from Czechia, and obviously also from Anaheim Ducks. Playmaking boost and speed boost. This is a goalkeeper just for synergies, which will be quite expensive of course, or if you are a fan of the team, team or a player. At 6'2", probably not the best goalkeeper, post to post and showstopper. He does have 95 speed and 95 agility, his aggression is 61, rebound control is 90, so if you look just at the stats, then they are good. The card looks good, but I don't think he's big enough to actually cover enough in the net. And we all saw the 99 speed for Fleury last week wasn't really enough, he was still playing quite bad. You can play the best defense, but the goalkeeper just don't cover enough in the net. But if you're a fan of the player or a team, absolutely scrap everything I just said and just make the goalkeeper. And of course we also need to have a look at this Teemu Selanne at 6 foot 209, sniping forward and agility boost. Just look at this card at 88 overall, the shooting and hands are insane, even skating is great, 93 speed, 94 acceleration with 88 endurance, balance 91 and agility 94. Make it snappy as a zone ability. I probably would like to see wheels, just because he's always one of the fastest players in the game, but considering he's a right-handed winger, this card will be really good. And there is an easy way of actually getting this card. Okay, maybe not an easy way, but at least it gives you a little bit more chances of getting this card if you don't want to go and buy him, because I'm pretty sure he will be quite expensive. And that's exactly what happened. Obviously people pulling this card are selling him for quite a lot. I don't think he's worth 900k, and there obviously are some bids for 8 hours and stuff like that, so probably people will try to sell this card around 600k. So I probably would not recommend buying him because it's still too pricey. If you really want to get this card, I probably would suggest you go into the sets and try to get that B&D version. Even considering I don't ever recommend making any B&D cards, but that's your best shot. We also have a bunch of other cards, but to be honest, I don't really think any of these cards will be usable. I would like to see higher overall K-Andre Miller, but at 85 he would definitely not make my team. He would only help me with objectives. And that's where we're heading next. Hot 2000s week 1 objectives. By completing every single objective, you will get yourself 186, which is good. Then you need to perform any deeks with the players, get assists, score goals, complete 25 games, win 1 shootout game, and get body checks. By completing everything, not only you're getting this 86 overall card, you also will end up with 15 collectibles. Then if we go over to the moments, because every single event always have moments, there are 5 new moments. So what you have to do, you have to get snapshots with Noah Dobson, and you get 1 random 82. You have to block shots with any player, and that's actually really good. There is no one player specifically, you have to stay in front of the net and try to block those shots. Then you have to get shoulder checks with Progner, which again isn't really difficult with his size. You have to perform 5 Ds with Svechnikov, also super easy, and then you have to score 3 goals with Brendan Shanahan. This was the one I actually struggled the most. I don't know, maybe because he's right-handed winger, I couldn't score a goal, so it took me, I don't know, 10 tries until I actually get it done. But by completing everything, you will end up with 184 overall 2000s player, 2 82s you can after exchange for an 84, and you also can choose one of the jerseys or logos from this event. And just to clarify, those logos are just the team logos, there is nothing cool, and same goes about the jersey. So basically you can just pick from Red Wings, Ducks and stuff like that. So if you are looking for a jersey or logo from that team, this is where you can actually get a choice pack. And we have some changes to the wild card. Not really changes, but they did nerf a little bit the rewards. Because the last event, by completing the wild card, you ended up with 41 collectible. Now if you complete every single tier, and the tiers are exactly the same as it was with Gallery of Greats, you only would end up with 35 collectibles instead of 41. It does take you the same time to complete it, so again, not a big deal, but you know, I usually enjoy to getting more collectibles because the collectibles offer you more freedom and you can actually go and choose what you want to make. But if you decide to go and play wildcard this week, it's actually 3, so basically you can only use 3 players. It's 1 period, 3 minutes long. And as by default, you already have this Chris Progner as your left-handed defenseman, and then you can just draft 2 forward and a goalkeeper. Same as every event recently, we also can get our daily pack with 5 collectibles. This time it will not be an essential pack, so if you go over to the essentials, you see there is nothing. The daily free pack will be in Hot 2000. So all you have to do is just scroll all the way down. There is no pack for me because I already opened one, but if you would scroll all the way down, you would see that there is a pack with 6 items and it costs 0 coins. But before we go into the sets and look at like what is the best way of spending your collectibles and stuff like that, one thing I want to address is that XP Season 1 Week 1 objectives finally don't have the timer. You can see that the timer of 6 days or 7 days now is gone, and the timer is now 40 days, basically the same as it is for the XP pad. So if you missed out, let's say, or you have to go for a holiday or something like that, you can always come back and complete these objectives at any time. And this is probably the biggest win from yesterday's content. The fact that they put a timer of 7 days on in the first place was like, what the hell? But now It actually gives the freedom to the player base because it just helps with FOMO. You can just play the game a little bit more the way you like, and again, you still cannot play the game the way you like, but at least it's closer to what it was before. Because the overalls didn't increase, also the requirement for the sets didn't change. You have to trade in 3 86 plus overall event cards and 2 86 overall cards from any previous events or just the base cards. We really don't have a base cards, but you know what I mean. If you want to make one of the 86 overall cards, you have to trade in 3 84 overall event cards. And to make an 84, you have to trade in 3 82 plus overall cards. And these cards are going in auction house for around 6,000 coins. So it means to make 184, it would cost you around 18,000 coins. And if we go back to the 86, then this set would cost you around 54,000 coins. So let's say you don't want to grind any chores and you just want to make one of these MSPs from scratch and how much it would cost. So considering we already discussed the cost of an 84 and an 86, to make one MSP would cost you 247,000 coins and you would get yourself one untradeable card. And that's because you have to trade in 3 86 overall event cards and you also have to buy, let's say, 2 86s. And 86s are currently going in auction house for 42,500 coins. But probably the best thing about this event is that they finally implemented the set which actually makes sense, because this is how the B&D cards should work. Let's say you are just starting out, you don't have any fancy cards, you didn't took advantage of the gallery of greats, and your team is really bad. If you make 3 MSPs, or let's say you pull MSP in the pack, untradeable or stuff like that, I would not suggest you trade in tradable cards, but if you have untradeable MSPs and you need 3 of them, you would get back all 5. So it means you could actually get all 5 MSPs from this week. You cannot keep this set until next week, because once the new MSPs will come out, this set will be gone and probably they will release another one just for week 2. As you can see, you trade in 3 and you get choice 2 out of 5 89 overall untradeable cards. So those untradeable cards, if you decide to make this set, make sure you pick the cards you really don't need or you don't want to use, because if it's untradeable, you can after trade it in any other sets, and you also can choose 3 out of 5 B&D cards. So those B&D cards you are choosing definitely should be the cards you want to use the most, because there is really no any other use for those cards as far as using in your team. So basically, let's say I think Andrei Svechnikov is probably one of the best cards to choose this week, and obviously Chris Progner. So let's say I decided to do this set and I have 5 MSPs. If I would need to trade in 3 MSPs and pick 5, probably Lucas Dostal would be the one I would pick as an untradeable, and then I would just pick any other card. Would it be Noah Dobson or Brendan Shanahan as untradeable as well, so I can use them in a future set. Personally, I would choose Andrei Svechnikov, Chris Progner and Noah Dobson as my B&D cards, because those probably impact my team the most. You can switch Brendan Shanahan with Svechnikov, depends on your team, but it's a really good opportunity for people who are just starting out to have some really interesting and good cards in your team. I wish we would see these kind of B&D sets more often, because this is exactly how it should be delivered. You trade in less cards and you get more cards back as a B&D, and then at least it justifies the cost. And of course, if you don't want to make any of these MSPs and just want to use all your collectibles, we have sets. You can get 476 plus untradeable cards for trading in 5 collectibles. You can get gold jersey, and I really would not recommend doing this. By trading in 20 collectibles, you can get 381 plus overall pack set, and again, these cards are untradeable. If you want to give a shot for that Teemu Selanne, then you can try trading in 30 collectibles for an 88 overall B&D card. I would only recommend this set if you are a fan of the player. If you want to make any of the MSPs, you will need to trade in 30 collectibles for 186. But if you are just after coins, there is always a set which is tradable, so 30 collectibles for 184 plus overall card. Most of the time you probably will only pull an 84 or an 85, so you will not be able to make a lot of coins, but I pulled some 88 overall cards out of these packs and I made a lot of coins on my alt account. But if you are saving for Team of the Year, then apparently this set is the best. 40 collectibles for 483 plus overall players. And if let's say all these 3 cards are 85, it's a really good way of saving more cards for any future events. Same as every other event, you can get 1 MSP for free each week. Now because they reduced the collectibles, you can really just make 1, maybe 2 if you use some of the cards in your collection. Because you will get yourself 50 collectibles by completing wildcard and also objectives. And if you open that daily pack in the store, you will get additional 35 collectibles. So that's 85 collectibles in total you can get this week. And 85 collectibles would give you 286 overall event cards, and considering you already get 1 from objectives, 184 from moments and 282s, you would be able to do these exchanges and get yourself 1 MSP for free. But I don't think any of these cards are are must make. They all are good cards, don't take me wrong, and they probably would make your team better, because I just think not a lot of these cards would actually make a big impact to our teams. For example, I would make Svechnikov. Then it means I would need to bench this Joe Sakic, because no way I'm benching Eriks Matejko because he's one of my favorite players. Nikita Kucherov and McDavid also is staying, so the only spot for him would be, let's say, second or third line, and if he would be the player I make, I probably would move Matejko to my second and Svechnikov to my third line. Same goes for Brendan Shanahan, because yes, at 89 he's a usable card, don't take me wrong, but I just got this Bill Guerin. I also have Brett Hall, who is like really good. Do I bench Barzal or do I bench Trocheck? Trocheck is my favorite player because he plays for Rangers, so I would never really do that. So again, my third line. When we talk about the defensemen, Noah Dobson probably would take Aaron Ekblad's spot, but Chris Progner definitely would take Gustav Forsling's spot, and if that's the case, I probably would move him to my first line with Axel Sandin Pellikka, because that size and this speed would work very well together. So it would mean Victor Hedman would probably move to my third line, because I still would keep Megan Keller on my second. I just wanted to give you some concept of like, these players are good, but if you are playing from day one, I don't really think they would make a huge impact to your team. All cards are good, so it's up to you who you make. Don't listen to anything we are saying or like this is must make or don't make this card. If any of those players are your favorite players or players from your favorite team, always make them. It's more enjoyable to use the cards you like instead of going after meta cards. So that's it for breaking down the content. A lot happened in the last 24-48 hours, and I have to once again give EA credit. They messed up in the first place, then they fixed it, and not only then they fixed some of the mistakes, they also admitted it and also put that on a social media as a communication. So hopefully again we will see this more often, and hopefully we will not see those mess ups more, because I really would like them implementing something good in the first place, not trying something out and then changing it for a better. Let me know down in the comment sections below what do you think about this week's event. Are you making any of the MSPs? Do you like the event? Or you will be just saving for Team of the Year and waiting for week 2? I hope you enjoyed today's video, have a good one and see you on the ice.